who's washing clothes and
taking out frustration.
taking out all frustration.
You need a vent. You need a vent for everything.
Yes.
I like the way how a very private affair of washing clothes is connected to the most public and political affair of the world and the partition in the country.
No, it was
That's
not a
beautiful.
private that time because when they came, no, they were given military camps. They were living in
No, the
barracks.
act of washing, ma'am.
And and
All
they
right.
had public toilets, public baths, public taps also,
Right, ma'am.
community taps where they were washing clothes, and she was narrating everything. She was talking to her हम उम्र औरतों के साथ ये सब
हाँ, okay.
narrate कर रही है.
Right, ma'am. Thank you. We're live on Facebook now, and welcome to the Talk About Poets, for 11th edition of this. And we had a pleasure of having Dr. Aparna Pradhan, ma'am, Dr. Miss Rajkumari Thakur, ma'am, and Mamta Freeman will be talking about who. And poetry is all about expression, emotional outburst, and poets talk about poets. Our objective is to bring different languages of India to forefront. And today's episode we would be dedicating to great poet laureate and as a philosopher, guide, and mystical figure Rabindranath Tagore. And in the previous episode, we talked about Dr. Rampast Koshi talked about Michael Madhusudan Dutt in English, who's an English poet, and Mr. Rachana Joshi ma'am talked about Mirabai. Wahida Hussain, Miss Wahida Hussain talked about Sahir Ludhianvi, who's a Urdu poet, and Miss Tamanna Priya talked about Chellapalli Swarupa Rani, who's a Telugu poet, like tribal Dalit poet, that is what. But today we had the honor of having Rajkumari Thakur ma'am, who will be talking about Parsuram Zia, who is a Sindhi poet, and we had also been, Dr. Parvesh Shariar, who was supposed to talk about Mirza Ghali, but he couldn't make it today since he was down with health issues. So he could not make it. So, but Dr. Aparna Pradhan ma'am would be talking about Amrita Pritam, who is a Punjabi poet, who is an English poet as well, and Dr. Mamata Freeman, who would be talking about the Kannada poet first time, and Cindy says first time on this platform. So she'll be talking about Janaki Srinivas Murthy. I have with me the former the professor of Delhi University, Sri Venkateswara College, Dr. Rupali Sarkargar, who will be taking this programming along. And she would also be acting as a moderator, and she would be, say a few words before proceeding further. And she would also talk about paying tribute to Rabindranath Tagore. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening. Thank you, Prasanna, for your invitation for me to speak and for being here on this very, very precious program that we do together. 2 generations almost separated, but we managed to do it together. And welcome to our dear poets or scholars and poets themselves and writers who speak about the great legends of this country, who we believe we should not forget, who we should speak about when we talk about our poetry. We must be able to say, I was inspired by so and so. Earlier, you heard these great writers saying that they were influenced by Keats or, by Rabindranath Tagore or somebody. But today we do not say it because we are not reading them. So this is a very special program for us to learn and for others to also learn. So thank you so much. Now, since we have dedicated this evening to Gurudev, Rabindranath Tagore, I'll just read 2 short poems to start this, and then after that we follow. So it begins with, "This is my prayer to thee. This is my prayer to thee, my Lord, Strike, strike at the root of penury in my heart. Give me the strength lightly to bear my joys and sorrows. Give me the strength to make my love fruitful in service. Give me the strength never to disown the poor or bend my knees before the insolent might. Give me the strength to raise my mind high above daily trifles, and give me the strength to surrender my strength to thy will and thy love. So I think this is, the prayer that we can read every morning so that, we begin our day well. And then he says that when the heart is hard and parched up, come upon me with a shower of mercy. When grace is lost from life, come with a burst of song. When tumultuous work raises its din on all sides, shutting me out from beyond, come to me, my Lord of silence, with thy peace and rest. When my beggarly heart sits crouched, shut up in a corner, break open the door, my King, and come with the ceremony of a king. When desire blinds the mind with delusion and dust, thou Holy One, thou wakeful, come with the light and thy thunder. Now the summer season is, heating us up, and you have a beautiful little short poem where he says, "The rain has held back for days and days. My God, in my arid heart, the horizon is fiercely naked, not the thinnest cover of a soft cloud, not the vaguest hint of a distant cool shower. Send thy angry storm, dark with death, if it is thy wish, and with the lashes of lightning startle the sky from end to end. But call back, my Lord, call back this pervading silent heat, still and keen and cruel, burning the heart to dire despair. Let the cloud of grace bend low from above, like the tearful look of the mother on the day of the father's wrath." So you have Rabindranath Tagore at his best in the Gitanjali, which won him the Nobel Prize, and he's a Nobel laureate. Whether it is given by somebody, an award given to a man like him. There is no Indian, and we'd like to complete this by saying this: there's no Indian anywhere in the world who doesn't know Rabindranath Tagore, for the simple reason that every time we stand up and sing the national anthem, every child, every man, every woman knows who Rabindranath Tagore is. So with that, dear friends, we start this evening, and we're very, very much welcome and honored with your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a great way to begin with. And let me take the honor of presenting the Miss Rajkumari Thakur, ma'am, with her bio. And she would be talking about, like I said, Sri Parsuramjia. She would be highlighting his contribution to the society, his, authorship. And she would be presenting a critical analysis, and she would be presenting in Sindhi poetry itself. She herself is a retired headmistress from high school. She was teaching Sindhi literature to the junior college students. She loves specifically Hindi Sindhi literature. So over to you, ma'am. It's such an honor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prasanna Kumar. Good evening and good morning, and have good day to all others who are watching this program. I'm very fortunate that I got an opportunity to present my very, very loving poet of our community, Shri Parsuram Zia. I would like to show you his photograph. I think I'm clear. Yeah. So मैं उनके जीवन के बारे में थोड़ा आपको बता रही हूँ संक्षिप्त में कि वो किस जमाने के पोएट थे और भारत में, इंडिया में कितना समय रहे थे। वैसे तो सादगी नम्रता की सूरत थे, मोहब्बत की मूरत थे, सिंधी कौम के मुमताज मायनाज हर दिल अजीज शायर थे। उनका तखल्लुस जिया यानी रोशनी, और वो सच में सिंधी कौम के रोशन मीनार थे, लाइट हाउस थे। उनका जन्म सिंध में 1912 में हुआ था और वे बहुत ही युवा थे जब उनका इंतकाल हो गया था। आई थिंक ही वॉज ओनली 46। और जब 1947 में देश का विभाजन हुआ तो उस समय वो किस हालात में अपना वो मीठा वतन छोड़कर यहाँ वापस रीसेटल होकर बैठे थे। वो सिंध की जुदाई का दर्द यानी अपने वतन की जुदाई का दर्द, और यहाँ आकर वे शरणार्थी बने तो शरणार्थियों की जिल्लत भरी जिंदगी का दृश्य जिस दिली चोट से जिया साहब ने सिंधी शायरी में किया है वैसा और किसी शायर ने नहीं किया है। उन्हीं में से उनकी एक दर्द भरी कविता है जिसका टाइटल है पिटे थी पोहुआ माँ। पिटे थी पोहुआ माँ मतलब कर्सिंग, पोहू की मम्मी। सो वर्ड्स तो उनके हैं पर कैरेक्टर जो है वो पोहू माँ का है। सो आई विल बी रीडिंग हिज पोएम विच इज वेरी फेमस इन सिंधी लिटरेचर, पोहुआ मावजा पाराता। Parata means curses. So after reading this poetry in Sindhi, I will be narrating its meaning in Hindi. कंद भजे शल कांग्रेस जो कयो अथन पुण्याव, लटा नदीअ ते धोए वेठी अगवानन खे लोए वेठी, मुंह खे सुजाए सटे थी कपड़ा तिखो अथस को ताव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। हिक जेडियन सां हाल वंडे थी, कांग्रेस ते छूअ छंडे थी, आहे असांखे उन्हनि रुलायो, कयाऊं कीन न्याव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। सिंध समूरी ॾिनऊं ॼटनि खे, मतिन महल ते आई मुअनि खे, जिना खे बि असां हिंदुनि जो कीन पियो कहकाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। सिर ते आई तॾहिं लॾियोसीं, पंहिंजो मिठड़ो मुल्क छॾियोसीं, हुत बि फुरियासीं हित बि फिरियासीं, लॻो को उबतो वाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। यारीअ वारो पीर को पुॼंदुनि, दिस इज द रियल कर्स। यारीअ वारो पीर को पुॼंदुनि, लाल साईं का उबती हणंदुनि, कैंप में आणे फिटो कयाऊं, ॾही अटे जो पाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। पंहिंजे वतन खां असीं वियासीं, किने मुल्क में अची पियासीं, रुखा हिते जा माण्हू आहिनि, कहिड़ो मुअन में साव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। मुखी न को कम करे था ॼाणनि, पंहिंजा भिभ भरे था ॼाणनि, पाण जहिड़नि जी कनि पिया ख़ुशामद, रुॻो रखनि था रियाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। ॿुधां थी कंबल आया आहिनि, घुर्जाउनि खे मिलणा नाहिनि, तिनखे मिलंदा जिन जो हूंदो चौचाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। भीड़ लॻे थी काकूसन ते, वेहनि भेनर तॾहिं घसनि ते, उल्टो मुखी चवनि ज़ालुनि खे, नाहे शर्म हयाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। कपड़ा उते धोता धोबियुनि ते, लटा सटिया थी हिते नंदियुनि ते, रोज़ खुंभनि जा चाढ़िया थी, अथम अंदर में घाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। राशन कहिड़ो मुआ ॾियनि था, गंद मथे में खयो हणनि था, हिक शइ मिलंदी ॿी शइ खुटंदी, त बि पिया कंदा वधाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। मिले थो राशन कीन समूरो, हिक शइ मिलंदी ॿी शइ खुटंदी, ॻह ॻारे करियूं वक़्त खे पूरो, खीर जी ख़ातिर ॿार रुअनि था, लहंदो केरु समाव, पिटे थी पोहुअ माव। पंहिंजा आहिनि पंहिंजीअ में पूरा, मतलबी आहिनि मुखी समूरा। हणनि वात जो फ़क़ति लॿाड़ूं, सुञो कंदा ठहराव, पिटे थी पोहूअ माउ। पोहूअ माउ जूं ॻाल्हियूं ॿुधी सूटाईअ जूं अखियूं थियूं आलियूं। विसरी विया सिगरेट छिकण बि, दिल खे लॻुसि धकाव, पिटे थी पोहूअ माउ। नाउ इन हिंदी, उस समय ये जो कांग्रेस पार्टी थी उसी की वजह से सब ही उसी में थे, हिंदू भी थे, मुस्लिम भी थे, साथ में ही रहते थे। सिंधी सिंध में रहते थे, हिंदू भी थे, मुस्लिम भी थे, पर उन्होंने कभी ऐसे कोई भेद नहीं रखा था। साथ में उठते बैठते थे, दोस्ती यारी थी उनकी। तो अब ये पोहू की माँ कम्युनिटी टैब पर कपड़े धो रही है ऐसे, और पूरा फ्रस्ट्रेशन जो उसके अंदर में है लीडरों पर और रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी पर, उसका वर्णन जब कोई ज्यादा पीड़ित होता है तो किसी न किसी से करेगा। तो कांग्रेसियों का कांध टूटे, हम पर उन्होंने अन्याय किया, ये कांध टूटना सिंधी फ्रेज है। कपड़े नदी पर धोते धोते लीडरों को कोस रही है, मुंह को सुजाए फुलाए सट सट कपड़े धो रही है। बहुत गुस्से में है पोहू की अम्मा। हम उम्र सहेलियों से अपने दिल का हाल बांट रही है और कांग्रेसियों को जोश से चिल्ला कर कहती है कि उन्होंने हमें बेघर किया, यहाँ वहां हमें भटकाया, हम पर बहुत ही अन्याय किया है, इनजस्टिस किया है। पूरा सिंध प्रांत जाटों को दे दिया, यानी मुस्लिम्स को दिया। मोह को कोई मत गत नहीं आई, उन्हें समझ नहीं आई उस समय। जिन्ना को भी हम हिंदुओं पर कोई तरस नहीं आया। सर पे आई तभी हमने माइग्रेट किया, अपने प्यारे मीठे वतन को छोड़ने का दर्द, एक एक चीज जिन जज्बातों से संभाला था, एक ही धक से उन्हें छोड़ना कितना दर्दनाक मंजर था। वहां भी हम लूटे, यहाँ भी हमें लूटा गया। तो ये रियल कर्स जो है वो बोलती है, शल भगवान उनसे हमारा बदला लेगा। लाल साईं इष्ट देव जो सिंधियों का है, वो कोई उल्टा चक्कर चलाए और हमें वापस वहां छोड़ देवे। So when a deep grief, you really feel like cursing. बद्दुआ तभी निकलती है, कोई खुशी से बद्दुआ नहीं देता है। जब दर्द बहुत जमा हो जाता है तभी हम बद्दुआ देते हैं, क्योंकि उनके साथ हम मैच भी नहीं कर सकते हैं कि उन्हें हम प्यार से समझा बुझा कर करें। तो फिर बोलती है, हम अपने वतन से गए, मुल्क तो एक ही था, हिंदुस्तान था, पर दीवार जो आ गई तो हम इस तरफ आ गए। गंदे मुल्क में आए, यहाँ के लोग भी रूखे थे, उन्हें भी लग रहा था ये शरणार्थी आए हैं, कैसी नजरों से उन्हें एक्सेप्ट किया होगा। यहाँ की जमीन तो उनके लिए इतनी अजीज नहीं थी, क्योंकि कुछ अपना नहीं था। जैसे हम अभी भी भारत में है, अगर मैं शिमला भी जाऊंगी तो मुझे वो अपनी जमीन जो है अपनी नहीं लगती है, भले पराई नहीं लगती है, पर अपनी, जो मैं बॉम्बे में रहती हूँ, यहाँ के लोगों से, यहाँ की जमीन से, यहाँ की दुकानों से मेरा एक रिश्ता बना हुआ है। फिर बोलते हैं, मुखिया कोई काम के नहीं है। मुखी हैं, लीडर्स हैं इधर भी, लेकिन हमारे काम के नहीं है। अपना पेट पाल रहे हैं और अपने जैसों की खुशामद कर रहे हैं। उनको भी श्रापित कर रही है पोहू की माँ। फिर बोल रही है, सुन रही हो कि आज कंबल आने वाले हैं, क्योंकि वो तो खाली हाथ आए थे, उन्हें सारी जरूरतों की चीजें यहाँ मिल रही थी शरणार्थियों को, तो अभी कंबल आए हैं। पर बोलती है, जरूरतमंदों को नहीं मिलने वाले हैं, उनकी आपस में हो गया है, सब चौचवाव हो गया है आपस में, उन्होंने जिनको देना होगा उन्हीं के लिए ही रखे होंगे, इन्फ्लुएंस जिनका चला होगा उन्हें ही दिया होगा। फिर बोल रहे हैं राशन भी कैसा देते हैं, पूरा गंदा राशन हमें देते हैं, एक चीज देते हैं दूसरी अवेलेबल नहीं है, और फिर हमने ये दिया हमने वो दिया, उन सब बातों का बखान करते हैं। फिर बोलते हैं कि ये हेवी क्राउड्स जो थे, कम्युनिटी टॉयलेट्स थे और लंबी लाइन लगती थी टॉयलेट्स में। अब ये तो इतना अर्जेंट काम है कि लेडीज भी मैदान में चली जाएंगी तो जेंट्स बोलेंगे अभी इनका शर्म हया ही नहीं है। फिर हमारे कपड़े तो वहां हमारे धोबी धोते थे, लेकिन आज हम यहाँ खुद धो रहे हैं, सब कुछ कर रहे हैं। तो कितने सारे दर्द भरे दास्तान अपनी सहेलियों से बता रही है। तो शायर बोल रहे हैं बहू माँ की बातें सुनकर मैं इतना दर्द में भर गया, इतना मुझे ये रहा कि मैंने जो सिगरेट थे, कश लगाने थे, वो सब भूल गया और मेरी आंखें नम हो गई। ये था इसका बहू माँ का पाराता, उनके कर्सिस।
वेरी पावरफुल पोएम, बहुत बढ़िया।
थैंक यू सो मच। या फिर ये जो शायर थे हिंदुस्तान में, उन्होंने बच्चों के लिए भी काफी सारा कुछ लिखा और प्रेयर्स के लिए भी लिखा। तो एक सिंधी कम्युनिटी में एक पॉपुलर गीत है जिसे हम हमेशा कोई भी संगत होगी तो उसमें गाते हैं। तू सखी आही सबाजो दर अथम तुंहिंजो झलियो, हाक तुंहिंजीअ खे ॿुधी मां दूर खां आहियां हलियो, मोहित ॾे मालिक मिठा मुंहिंजे मदायुनि खे न ॾिस, ऐब मुंह में अणमया सच सच अथम साईं सलियो, तूं हीअं जो ठार आहीं ठार विझ मन ठार तूं, बेसबब दुनिया जे हिरसनि में जिगर आहे जलियो, तूं भरियो भंडार आहीं ख़ाली झोली भर खणी, आस हिक तो में रखी मूं आसरो जग जो पलियो, तुंहिंजे दम सां दिल जे उजड़ियल बाग़ में ईंदी बहार, तो नज़र जंहिं ते कई सो दाइमा फूलियो फलियो, तुंहिंजे चाउठ ते पई आहियां पवई मन तरस को, मां ज़िया मजबूर आहियां रूह जो तोसां रलियो। तो ये पोएम जो है वो मोस्टली सब प्रोग्राम्स में या स्कूल्स में प्रेयर के तौर की जाती थी। अभी मैं इसका हिंदी में तर्जुमा बताती हूँ। तू बड़ा ही सखी है, बेनिवोलेंट है, उदार चित्त है, और आपका नाम सुनकर ही मैं यहाँ आई। हर कोई भगवान का नाम भगवान के पास जाता ही इसके लिए है क्योंकि प्राप्ति होती है वहां से। प्राप्ति फिजिकल तो नहीं पर मन की शांति मिलती है, सुख मिलता है, उसी प्राप्ति के लिए हम जाते हैं। और भगवान जो है वो उसी के सब बच्चे हैं, वो कभी जात पात नहीं देखता है, वहां जो भी जाता है ठंडा ठार होकर आता ही है। हाँ, ये थोड़ा है कि हम भगवान के पास जाते हैं तो हम अपने को यही बोलते हैं, तो उसकी महिमा करते हैं और अपने को बोलते हैं मैं नीच हूँ, मैं पापी हूँ, मुझ में अवगुण नहीं है, मुझे निर्गुण हारे में कोई गुण नहीं, ऐसे ही है इसमें भी। पर ये जो है वो अपने को थोड़ा ईगोलेस मानना, ये करना उसके हिसाब से है। तो दूसरा बस यही है कि तुम मेरे हृदय की ठंडक हो, मेरे हृदय को शांति और शीतलता मिलती है, इसलिए क्योंकि मेरा जिगर, मेरा हृदय जो है वो संसारी पदार्थों के चाहिए कि डिजायर्स से जला हुआ है। हम छोटे थे, दुकान में जाते थे, एक चीज लेकर आते थे, 10 सोच के आते थे, नेक्स्ट टाइम आएंगे तो ये लेंगे। तो ये डिजायर जो है वो हमेशा रहती ही है, उनसे हमारा जिगर जला हुआ, तो हमें शांति चाहिए। तो इस तरह मैं तुम्हारी दहलीज पे हूँ, तुम्हारा नाम सुना है और तुम्हें दया पड़ेगी तो तुम मुझे अपना लोगे. So this is all about these two poems, Tu Sakhi and Pitethi Pohuama. Thank you so much.
Excellent, ma'am. Excellent. What a powerful, beautiful presentation. Yes. Uh, Thank you for highlighting and enlightening us about Sri Parshuram Ji Asa. Over to Rupali, ma'am. She would like to react.
It's very difficult to say anything after this wonderful presentation. You're so much of clarity. और सिंधी पोइट्री के बारे में हम इतना कम जानते हैं, although we know that very famous song, of Ali Dam Dam De Andar,
Yeah.
So we have that, and but what जो मुझे बहुत attract किया है कि इन्होंने जो लिखा है, the male poet, and इन्होंने जो आपने जो पहला पहुआ की माँ जो है, this is, it's a very politically strong poem.
Yeah.
और ये जो भाषा है, ये जो पॉलिटिकल कंसर्न्स है, जो रिवोल्ट है जो आम इंसान के अंदर, वो एक महिला को दिया गया है. इट्स अ वेरी फेमिनिस्ट पोएम. It's a poem about the suffering of, because it is women, अब मैंने अफ्रीकन लिटरेचर में अपना काफी काम किया हुआ है, तो जब कभी भी किसी किस्म के इनकलाब हुआ है, तो अंत में औरतें हैं खड़े हुए हैं, इसलिए कि जब नल में पानी नहीं आता है, जब बिजली बंद कर दिया जाता है, जब राशन नहीं मिलता है, it is the women who are affected. And finally, the cruelty of a political system comes and falls upon the women. वो किस तरह अपने बच्चों को खिलाएंगे, किस तरह उनको पानी पिलाएंगे, and then they revolt. So, this is wonderful, and it's taken me back also to the stories of the partition. जो हमारे माता पिता, जो मेरे, especially my father, he lived in Karachi. वो पहले ढाका में इनका जन्म हुआ था, but they migrated to Karachi, and when the partition took place, the kind of manner in which they had to leave everything within a minute, 1 second में, छत पे बच्चे खेल रहे थे, military trucks आए, उनमें डाल के, they were taken to camps and separated from each other. So मुझे वो कहानी आपके, this poem is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
And आपके selection of the poem has been wonderful, and women's participation in the political revolution, even if our country has not been recognized, and through poetry and through literature, this is what happens. Thank you so much, Rajkumari ji. I'm overwhelmed. मुझे मेरे तो आंखों में आंसू आ गए, to be very, very honest.
Yeah, thank
Very,
you
very
so
honest.
much. Thank you so much.
And I think for Mamata, who's still teaching in the university, props are very important. है ना? She has brought a prop. So next time you are teaching, take a prop to your class. Make it
Yes,
more
definitely,
visual.
ma'am. And also, thank you for this poem, ma'am, because in the syllabus, in Reading India, we have Amrita Pritam's I Ask Varisha. So this would be a second reading if we could include and make it more experiential for the students to understand what is partition exactly. Because now the generation is so at the bandwidth, so far away from that generation, they don't really know what is partition. So these poems need to be unearthed and brought before the students so that they really realize what is the true essence and magnitude of their history, which otherwise this generation is not.
And yes, Mamta, like Toni Morrison, she has written a lot about the black people's slavery
Sula,
and all,
beloved.
but not to be vengeful, but to re-remember. She uses the word re-remember, ताकि फिर ये ना कभी होए. This should never be repeated again.
Sure.
Not that we don't want to hear these things to take revenge or to be angry, but फिर दोबारा ये नहीं होना चाहिए.
Yes.
So yeah, true. You brought to us a great poet, and we're very, very thankful to you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would request Dr. Rupali, ma'am, to introduce Dr. Aparna Pradhan, ma'am.
This is going to be very, very difficult because मेरे इतना दम और सांस नहीं है इनका bio पढ़ने में. She is so accomplished, a lady, that थोड़ा सा time लगेगा, so you must give that to me. So Dr. Aparna Pradhan, you're most welcome to today's program.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Aparna Pradhan is an award-winning artist, a bilingual writer, author, poet, story writer, lyricist, and moderator. Widely published, she has authored 5 books, more than 300 articles, and contributed poems and write-ups in 50 international and national anthologies. Her paintings, and this is very interesting, adorn the cover pages of all her books and the prose section of an anthology on Lord Ganesha, Om Gana Ganapataya Namah, has been authored by her, and her paintings adorn the cover page of the book. Life-size posters showcasing her poems. I would really want this for myself, Life-size posters showcasing her poems, Meri Awaaz Suno, were erected in 2018 by the Forest Department Government of Goa at various public places to create awareness of the importance of trees in saving Mother Earth and environment. Congratulations. I think this is one of your great achievements.
Yes.
Dr. Aparna has received the Panorama Golden Book Award 24, Nari Asmita Orchid Women Achievers of Goa Award, Ankur Sahitya Shiromani Samman, Savitri Bai Dada Saheb Phalke Women Achievers Award, Saas Le Lu. Versatile Personality 2023, winner of Asia's prestigious award, Golden Book Awards, Naritya Ka Asitya, Indian Women Achievers Award Literature 22, and the Subhadra Kumari Chauhan for Best Fiction Book, Triya Yami, winner Annual Wordsmith Award. She's an established artist and loves working on positive aspects and portraits. We welcome you to the Songs of India. Poets speak of poets. एक ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर रखना पड़ेगा. We are having such great people in our program these days, Prasanna.
Thank you, Rupali ma'am. Thank you, Rupali ji, for such a wonderful introduction. And good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I must thank Mr. Prasanna Kumar for inviting me and Rupali ji for inviting me to this wonderful platform. And it's very heartening that they have started this series, Poets Speak About Poets. Because poets of yesteryears are being forgotten. The younger generation, they really don't read those poets. Very few of them who are serious into literature, they do read. So this initiative is excellent, and I congratulate you both for this initiative. I have chosen Amrita Pritam as my favorite poetess, writer, author, novelist, because of 2 reasons. One, she writes in Punjabi, Hindi, and English, and I also know these languages, Punjabi, Hindi, and English. Another reason for choosing her is that I have met her when I was in school, and I had the fortune of meeting her a couple of times. So you have an image of a poetess, at that time when you are in school. Oh, this lady writes so well. Although you don't understand everything what she was writing at that time, but still. So when I grew up, I started reading her and I developed a great fascination for her. So today I'll be presenting Amrita Pritam, some of her works, a brief introduction in English, then I will come to Hindi and Punjabi. Amrita Pritam was an Indian maverick writer and a poet. She is considered the first eminent female Punjabi writer, novelist, and poet of the 20th century. Her writing is equally loved by people in India and Pakistan, which shows that India and Pakistan, despite being divided by various ideological, religions, and political differences, they share the same love for Amrita Pritam, a Punjabi poetess whose work even today unintentionally continues to conjoin these 2 disjointed pieces of subcontinent. A free and liberated woman, Amrita wrote what she wanted to be at that time. She didn't have any inhibition whether she should write this or not. Whatever she felt, she wrote about it in a male-dominated society where a woman would be seeing with a different angle, I would say. Her image as a cigarette smoker, atheist woman living independently with her partner at a time when women were hardly allowed to do anything without male permission, truly unshackled the chains of patriarchy. Born in 1919 on 31st August as Amrit Kaur in Gujranwala, Punjab, now in Pakistan, she was born to Raj Bibi and Kartar Singh. At the age of 16, she became a published author at the age of 16. And at the same time, during this period only, she got married to, and from there she got this title Amrita Pritam. Her husband was Pritam Singh, and she was engaged when she was just 4 years old and married at the age of 16. Though born into a traditional Sikh family, Amrita lost faith in God at the age of 11 when her mother, Raj Bibi, passed away. After her mother's demise, Amrita moved to Lahore with her father, where she was raised. Post her mother's death, Amrita found solace in writing and began to write at a very young age and became a published writer in 1936 at a tender age of 16 years only. After releasing her maiden anthology of poetry titled Amrit Lehrein, Immortal Waves, she went on to publish at least 6 more collections of poems from 1936 to 1943. She has written more than 100 books, including poems, stories, biographies, essays, collection of Punjabi folk songs, and autobiographies, which were later translated in many Indian and foreign languages. She expressed before we were talking about partition, how people felt the pain. She also expressed the pain of the massacres that took place during the partition of India and Pakistan in the form of poignant poem Aj Akkha Waris Shanu, for which she is most remembered. I will read out this poem a little later. Growing up in a British-ruled impoverished India, Amrita was deeply affected by the pathetic state of living she found the people of her country were in, which attracted her to the ideologies of socialism and communalism. This was reflected in her involvement with the progressive writers movement, and from a romantic poet, she became a progressive poet. The narrow lane of love is different from the marriage, which was an unwanted bond. She had 2 children, she divorced her husband, unfulfilled love, but the journey was still ahead. So now I will move on to her awards and then later come to her poems in Hindi. She received many prestigious awards in her illustrious career. Punjab Ratna Award, Amrita became the first recipient of this prestigious award given by the government of Punjab. The Sahitya Academy Award in 1956, she became the first woman to receive Sahitya Academy Award for her poems titled Suneda. This is considered her magnum opus. Bharatiya Gyanpith Award. Amrita received the Gyanpith Award, considered as India's highest literary award in the year 1982. Then she received international recognition. The Gyanpith Award was given for her book, Kagas or Canvas, this book. And she is the one whom I'm talking about. Then the government of India gave her Padma Awards. In 1969, she received Padma Shri for her contribution towards art and literature. 2004, she was again honored with Padma Vibhushan. So now I come to Amrita Pritam because she was writing in Punjabi. Later on, she started writing in Hindi, and most of her works have been translated into Hindi. whatever she had written in Punjabi have been translated in Hindi and English also. She was writing some. अमृता ऐसी एक शख्सियत है जिन्हें पढ़ने वालों का एक बड़ा सा वर्ग मिला है। अनेक सम्मान से, प्रतिष्ठित सम्मानों से सम्मानित हैं। साहित्य प्रेमी के लिए एक नया नाम नहीं है। इन पर कई कहानियां, कई लेख लिखे जा चुके हैं। साथ ही लोगों ने फिल्मों के माध्यम से भी अमृता के जीवन को करीब से समझने और समझाने की कोशिश की है। वैसे तो अमृता ने सभी तरह के विषयों पर बेबाक लिखा है, लेकिन बात जब प्रेम की होती है तो अमृता की कहानियां और कविताओं के साथ उनके निजी जीवन को समझना भी बहुत जरूरी है। उनके लिखे में संवेदना का एक ऐसा स्पर्श मिलता है जिसे छूकर लगता है, अरे ये तो हमारे ही भीतर की आवाज है, हमारा जिया हुआ सच है। अमृता की इस कविता के एक यादगार इतिहास भी जुड़ा है। पहले मैं आपको विभाजन वाली कविता का इतिहास बताती हूँ जो उन्होंने लिखा था। आज वारिश शाह जो थे वो पंजाबी के एक पोएट थे। उन्होंने हीर रांझा की प्रेम कथा के ऊपर एक बहुत खूबसूरत सी कविता लिखी थी। तो जब ये विभाजन में लड़कियों के साथ में बहुत बुरा व्यवहार हुआ, उस समय उन्होंने ये लिखी अमृता प्रीतम में, जो पंजाबी में इस प्रकार है। अज आखियां वारिश शाह नू किते कबरां विचों ते अज किताबे इश्क दा कोई अगला वर्का खोल। वर्का माने कागज। इश्क रोई सी थी पंजाब दी। ती माने लड़की। एक लड़की रोई थी अपने प्यार के चक्कर में पंजाब की। तू लिख लिख मारे बैन अज लखा धियां रोंदियां तेनों वारिशा तू कहन। उठ दर्द मंदा दिए दर्दियां उठ तक अपना पंजाब अज वेले लाशा बिछियां ते लहू दी भरी जनाब। इसका हिंदी में ये है, आज वारिस शाह से कहती हूँ अपनी कब्र से बोलो और इश्क की किताब का कोई नया अध्याय पूछो। पंजाब की एक बेटी रोई थी तो तूने इतनी लंबी दास्तान लिखी। आज लाखों बेटियां रो रही हैं वारिस शाह, तुमसे कह रही हैं अपने पंजाब को देखो, लाशों से अटे पड़े हैं, चिनाब लहू से भर गया है। तो ये एक बहुत दर्दनाक कविता थी जिसकी वजह से ये बहुत ही ज्यादा मशहूर हुई थी। और इसी से जुड़ी एक कविता उन्होंने लिखी थी जिसमें कि बहुत सी औरतों का बलात्कार हुआ और बाद में वो माँ बनी। तो वो उसके बारे में, विभाजन के समय जबरदस्ती उठा के ले गए थे, औरतों की कोख से जो जन्मे बच्चे हैं उस पे उन्होंने मजबूर एक कविता लिखी थी। बच्चे की जवानी एक कविता लिखी गई जिसमें सूरज का जो सशक्त वर्णन है उसमें था। मेरी माँ की कोख मजबूर थी, मैं भी तो एक इंसान हूँ। ये एक वो बच्ची बोल रही है जिसकी माँ का बलात्कार हुआ है और जन्म के बाद बोल रही है, मेरी माँ की कोख मजबूर थी, मैं भी तो एक इंसान हूँ। आजादियों की टक्कर में उस चोट का निशान हूँ, उस हादसे की लकीर हूँ जो मेरी माँ के माथे पर लगानी जरूरी थी। मेरी माँ की कोख मजबूर थी। मैं वह लानत हूँ जो इंसान पर पड़ रही हूँ। मैं वह लानत हूँ जो इंसान पर पड़ रही है। मैं उस वक्त की पैदाइश हूँ जब तारे टूट रहे थे, जब सूरज बुझ गया था, जब चांद की आंख बेनूर थी। मेरी माँ की कोख बहुत मजबूर थी। कौन जाने कितना मुश्किल है एक जुल्म को अपने पेट में पालना, अंग अंग को झुलसाना और हड्डियों को जलाना। मैं उस वक्त का फल हूँ, जरा आजादी के पेड़ पर बौर पड़ रहा था। आजादी बहुत पास थी, बहुत दूर थी, मेरी माँ की कोख बहुत मजबूर थी। इतनी दर्द भरी जो इन्होंने ये कविता लिखी है, ये पढ़ के एक, कभी भी ये कविता पढ़ी जाती है तो आंखें नम हो जाती हैं कि उस बच्चे के ऊपर क्या पड़ रहा था। तो ऐसी शख्सियत थी कि वो लिखती थी इतना भावपूर्ण। एक तरफ प्रेम को वो ऐसा मानती थी कि लगता था कि उनसे बड़ा कोई प्रेमी नहीं है। साहिल लुधियानवी और उनके प्रेम के बारे में कौन नहीं जानता है। उनसे वो पहली बार 1944 में मिली थी, वो भी पाकिस्तान में एक मुशायरे में मिली थी। और उसके बाद जो उनका दिल उन पे आया, दोनों में मूक जिसको कहते हैं ना प्रेम था, एक रूहानी सा रिश्ता था। उस रिश्ते का कोई असली नाम नहीं हुआ क्योंकि वो शादी नहीं कर पाए, एक रूहानी सा रिश्ता दोनों के बीच बंधा हुआ था। और इसी रिश्ते को लेके उन्होंने एक कविता लिखी थी, बहुत प्रेम, बहुत प्यारी कविता। मैं चंद लाइनें ही पढ़ के सुनाऊंगी क्योंकि समय आगे बढ़ रहा है। जब मैं तेरा गीत लिखने लगी, मेरे शहर ने जब तेरे कदम छुए, सितारों की मुट्ठियां भर आसमान ने न्यौछावर कर दी। कितना खूबसूरत लिखा है। दिल के घाट पर मेला जुड़ा, जो रातें रेशम की परियां बात बांध कर आए। जब मैं तेरा गीत लिखने लगी, कागज के ऊपर उभर आए केसर की लकीरें। सूरज ने आज मेहंदी घोली, हथेलियों पर रंग गई हमारी दोनों की तकदीर। तो ये उनका जो प्रेम का था, ये उन्होंने बहुत बखूबी लिखा। और उनकी जो किताब एक है रसीदी टिकट, उन्होंने अपनी आत्मकथा भी उसमें लिखी है और उसमें उन्होंने खुलेआम अपने प्रेम के बारे में लिखा है। उनको किसी तरह की हिचकिचाहट नहीं थी कि हाँ मैं लिखूं। लोग असल में ये चीजें छुपाते हैं। फिर जब साहिर लुधियानवी का नहीं उनके साथ में हो पाया क्योंकि वो सुधा मल्होत्रा के साथ में उनका प्यार चल रहा था, तब अमृता की जिंदगी में इमरोज आए और वो उनके साथ शायद 40 साल एक ही छत के नीचे रहे। लेकिन उन्होंने शादी नहीं करी, अलग अलग कमरे में रहे, एक दूसरे को इतना समझते थे कि बगैर बोले हुए एक दूसरे को समझते थे। और जब साहिर लुधियानवी की डेथ हुई थी, तब अमृता ने एक दो लाइनें लिखी थी, आज मेरा खुदा मर गया। ये दिखाता है क्या प्रेम की पराकाष्ठा रही होगी, आज मेरा खुदा मर गया। और जब प्रेम में डूबी होती है स्त्री, तो उम्र के कागज पर तेरे इश्क ने अंगूठा लगाया, हिसाब कौन चुकाएगा। ये जब उनका टूट गया था उनके साथ में। तो इसी तरह से उन्होंने बहुत ही सुंदर सुंदर कविताएं लिखी हैं। और अंत में मैं वो कविता पढ़ना चाहूंगी जब उन्होंने दुनिया छोड़ने से पहले जो लिखी थी, अपने घर का नंबर मिटाया, आज मैंने अपने घर का नंबर मिटाया और गली के माथे पर लगा, गली का नाम हटाया और हर सड़क की दिशा का नाम पोंछ दिया। पर अगर आपको मुझे जरूर पाना है, तो हर देश के, हर शहर की, हर गली का द्वार खटखटाओ। ये एक शाप है, ये एक वर है, और जहां भी आजाद रूह की झलक पड़े, समझना वह मेरा घर है। तो इतनी खूबसूरत कविता के साथ उन्होंने अपना ये इस जीवन का सफर उन्होंने खत्म किया था। और मैं यही कहना चाहूंगी, इनके जैसी कवित्रियां बार बार, लेखिका, कवित्री, नॉवलिस्ट। और इनकी एक बहुत बढ़िया किताब थी पिंजर, उसके ऊपर पिक्चर बनी थी, अवार्ड विनिंग फिल्म बनी है। तो इन्होंने और इनकी और साहिल लुधियानवी की जो इश्क वाली जर्नी थी, उसने हम लोगों को बहुत अच्छा लिटरेचर दिया है पढ़ने के लिए। तो इसी के साथ मैं दुआ करूंगी कि ऐसे ही आप इनको पढ़ते रहिए और अपना प्यार इनके ऊपर सदियों तक लुटाया जाएगा। धन्यवाद।
बिल्कुल मैम, बहुत उम्दा प्रस्तुति आपका। रूपाली मैम।
I think that was a very beautiful presentation on Amrita Pritam. मैं तेनू फिर मिलांगी, she says, when Sahir Ludhianvi passed away.
Yes.
Punjabi language is such a beautiful language. It's so full of love. इश्क शायद किसी और भाषा में लगता है जिक्र नहीं कर सकते, except in the Punjabi language, but that's not true. I'm sure it's in every language. But the way Amrita Pritam has also challenged, Waris Shah, and said कि तुमने एक पंजाब की लड़की के लिए रोए थे, अब लाखों रो रहे हैं. These were very violent times, very difficult times. My father's sister, she jumped from the third floor of a house in Karachi to escape the violent people who were coming, breaking down the gate. And she jumped from there and she fell down and she was picked up by a garbage van and taken away. So there's a story that I have written about it. The stories of partition are stories of great sorrow. And as I said, that we must have a program on it. We must read more about them. And I think that I would like to ask Rajkumari ji to say something about what has been presented just now on Archana ji has, Aparna ji has presented. आप कुछ कहेंगे राजकुमारी जी?
हाँ, यही कहूंगी कि अब अमृता प्रीतम को मैंने पढ़ा नहीं है, सिर्फ ये पिक्चर ही देखी है, पिंजर, और बाकी जो बातें सुनी थी कि उनका साहिर लुधियानवी के साथ भी था, और लेकिन वो लास्ट टाइम समवन वाज टेलिंग कि वो सिगरेट पीते थे, और
Yes.
वो भी उसका वो लास्ट वाला बट रख देती थी और उनके जाने के बाद ये करती थी। तो वो कितना सच्चे प्रेम से उन्हें प्यार करती थी, ये उसकी डेप्थ जो है, गहराई जो है, वो इसी बात से हमें पता चलती है। और जब आपने कहा कि वो साहिर लुधियानवी गए तो शी सेड मेरा खुदा आज मर गया, मुझे थोड़ा ये रहा था कि खुदा भी मर गया, उसने ये भी कहा। So she treated him like a Khuda.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I said रूहानी रिश्ता था दोनों के बीच में.
हाँ, वही।
On that note, thank you, ma'am.
Very wonderful, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Aparna, ma'am. Such a powerful, this beautiful
bless you.
presentation.
Beautiful.
Let me take the honor of presenting, introducing Miss Mamata V. Freeman. Mamata V. Freeman teaches English literature at Mount Carmel College, Bangalore, where she teaches communication skills, Indian narratives, and performance arts. She has authored indecent stages unveiling gender in Shakespearean cinema. Her research interests mainly include exploration into relational politics and gender, media, and modes of socialization. Her research concentrates to unearth the modes of interaction in surreptitious creation of inequalities in hopes towards empowerment and equality. Today, Professor Mamata V. Freeman would be talking about or speaking about Kannada poet Janaki Srinivasa Murthy, whose pen name is Vaidehi. And she was born in 1945 and more from Dr. Mamata ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this platform. Let me quickly start off and not take much time. So I would start off with the introduction, go off to a poetry, read it in Kannada, and then come off to the explanation in English and a discussion therewith. So as sir has already told, we are talking about Janaki Srinivasa Murthy. Her pen name is Vaidehi, which was actually given by Sudha magazine when she started writing. So she was born to a Brahmin family in Kundapura. Kundapura Kannada dialect is what she generally uses to write. Then her works also reflect, okay, let me dwell a little more into her writing. When she got into a very orthodox Brahmin family in her young adult life, she realizes what is being a woman, what is the transition from a girl who is very naive, who thinks the world is hers, and then, at her time, when she was born in 1945, maybe in the 50s, 60s, I'm sure all of us know the world was not the same for most of the women. It's still not the same for most of the women. That is the reality. So as she got into the front of the private life of a woman, that is generally where the woman stands within the four walls and being trained to be the wife, the woman, the mother. So all her poems dwell around how women see their lives, how women explore experiences. And the beauty about Vaidehi's poetry is that she chooses very simple, very normal day activities of life. But the way she puts it shows the complexities of the women, their experience, their mind, their soul. That is what gets beautifully presented in Vaidehi's poetry. And Vaidehi takes time to make it very normal, very simple, where she talks about let it be making sambar or looking at the peacock that's just flown in and wondering where is the rain and why is she here? Or looking at the beautiful dewdrops of the rain. But the way she transitions is to give the voice to the woman, her experience, and never will you see her getting into the voice of subjugation. It was always in a very natural flow to bring in the voice of equality. That is why I love Vaidehi's poetry, because it's very much in tune with what research I am interested in, to think of equality beyond all. So we do have wrong thoughts of what is feminism, but it's actually to bring in equality with genders. And today, sadly, we think of feminism in a very wrong light, right? It becomes pseudo-feminism and things like that. But thank you to all the people who are getting into masculine studies and all that to understand gender is a politics for both, and both worlds needs to be reflected and given importance to. And Vaidehi in those times might not entirely look at the other picture of gender, but definitely she gives us a hint to what is a woman's life. So I'm not going to make it completely feminist, but the poem that I've chosen is the universal entity, the God image that we all remember and we cherish, and we yearn for that entity to be with our lives forever, the mother. So the poem that I've chosen to recite is Nanna Ammana Sire. A small gist to what I'm talking about, and then I'll go off to reading it. This is a poem where she talks about the mother's sari and how she connects to the mother's sari to become a sign that signifies the life of a woman, the life of a mother, the child that is with constant bond with the mother, and how it grows through time. So that is how the poem goes. Let me read it. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ ಮರೆದ ಪೆಟ್ಟಿಗೆಯೊಳಗೆ ಮಲ್ಲು ಬಿಳಿ ಸುತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ಜಿರಳೆ ಗುಳಿಗೆ. ಮಡಿಕೆ ಮಡಿಕೆಯ ಶಿಸ್ತು ಅಂಗೈ ಒತ್ತು ತಲೆದಿಂಬಿನಡಿ ಇಡಿಯ ಈ ಸ್ತ್ರೀ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ. ಕರ್ಪೂರ ಪುಡಿಕೆ ಅಗರು ಲಾವಂಚ. ಅವಳದೇ ಪರಿಮಳ ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕೈ ಬಳೆ ಸದ್ದು ಸೇರಿದಂತೆ ಸೊಂಟ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಸಿ ದುಡಿವ ಉರುಪಿನಂತೆ. ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸೆರಗಿನ ತುಂಬ ಅಡ್ಡಡ್ಡ ರೇಖೆಗಳು. ದುಷ್ಟತನ ಹೊತ್ತವರು ಸುಳಿಯದಂತೆ. ನೆಟ್ಟ ಬದುಕಿನ ಕಟ್ಟೆ ಬಡೆಯದಂತೆ. ತಂಟೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಎದುರು ಬೆತ್ತದಂತೆ. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ ನೆರಿಗೆ ಅಂಬೆಡೆ ಗಂಟು. ಖಾಲಿಯಾಗದ ಗೂಢ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಕೋಶ. ಮಧುರ ಸೀರೆಯ ಹಸಿರು ಹಳದಿ ಅಂಚಿ ಹೂವು. ಅರಸಿ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದ್ದಿರಬಹುದೇ ಬಹುಶಃ. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ ಉಟ್ಟಷ್ಟು ಉಂಟು, ಎಷ್ಟುದ್ದ ಉದ್ದ. ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಅಳೆಯಲು ಹೋಗಿ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಉಡಲೂ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾನಾದೆ ಗಿಡ್ಡ ಗಿಡ್ಡ. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ ಮಾವು ಗೇರಿನ ಸೋನೆಯು ರಂಜ ಕೇಪಳ ತರಗಿ ಮಡಲಿನಂತೆ. ಯುಗಾದಿ ಕಣಿ ತೊಟ್ಟ ಗೋಧಿ ಮಣಿಯಂತೆ. ಹಳತೆಂಬುದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಹೊರಳಿ ಹೊಸ ಅರ್ಥವಾದಂತೆ. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ ಒಡಲೆಲ್ಲೆ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ. ಮೋಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಸಿಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಯದಂತಡದಿ ಮಾಯದಂತೆ ಕಾದು ಸ್ವಂತತನವ ಕತ್ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಹೊಳೆದ ಜೀವ. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಸೀರೆ ವಾಯ್ಗು ಮಗ್ಗುದ ನೂಲು. ಪಟ್ಟೆ ಸೀರೆಗೆ ಪಟ್ಟ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕನಸು. ನನಸಾಗುವಾಗ ಅಪ್ಪಯ್ಯನಿಲ್ಲ. ಉಟ್ಟರೂ ಈಗಿಲ್ಲ ಉಡುವ ಮನಸ್ಸು. ಕಳೆದು ಹೋಯ್ತೆನ್ನುವಳು ಉಡುವ ವಯಸ್ಸು. ನನ್ನ ಅಮ್ಮನ ಹಳೆಯ ಉಡುಪಿ ನೇಯ್ಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀರೆ ನೋಡುತ್ತಿದೆ ನೋಡು ನೇಲೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಕುಳಿತು. ಹಾಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೊದೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವೆ ಅದನ್ನು. ಅಮ್ಮ ಎನ್ನುವ ಸುಖದ ನಿಟ್ಟುಸಿರ ಕರೆದು. ಸವೆದೂ ಸವೆಯದ ಆ ಪದವ ನೆನೆದು. ಸವೆದೂ ಸವೆಯದ ಆ ಪದವ ನೆನೆದು. ವೈದೇಹಿ. So because the language is different, I think I'll have to go a little line by line. So again, this is something I came across when I thought of translating and understanding women's poetry also. Not many women are actually known to the world because they're not translated. Even
Yes.
though the colonial rule has done us good by bringing us all to the same platform through translations, Kannada translations have not really seen the light of the day, comparatively, especially women writing. There's a loss and a dearth and lack of translations. So hopefully the next generation will move towards that light of translations. And Vaidehi's daughter herself has translated many of her works. Actually, there's a long list of her works. That's why I refrained from talking about it. She's written poems, collections of poems, short stories, children's books, plays, and her texts have also become movies like Gulabi Takis and all that. So there's a lot to know about them. But coming directly to this poem is something that talks to every soul that is there, because it talks about Nanna Ammana Sire, the Indian epitome costume that we always relate to our mothers and our grandmothers. We
Yes.
always, as young women, wonder how do they drape this 6-yard cloth and make it so mesmerizingly proper? Because at 16, when all of us tried it, it looked awkward on us. But with that sari itself, they become that epitome of that beauty. And whenever I don't know if you've observed, the mother's sari is never out of place. And anything she does is always in sync, is always proper, it's always perfection, right? So that is what gets reflected in the first few lines. She says, Nanna Ammana Sire, Mareda Pettigeyolage. This is the beauty of Vaidehi's writing. She uses words in such a way that Mareda, Marada is wood. Mareda could also mean forgotten. So it has dual meanings. So when she writes, it gives you the gist of from which perspective are you looking at, it can change the meaning for you. And she has a beautiful play of words. And here she talks about how very often, as daughters, daughter-in-laws, we have that yearning for that beautiful saris of our mothers and grandmothers and mother-in-laws. But for them, it is something that's somewhere in some trunk or a box or some cupboard there. They're not even interested now. But for us, it is something that we remember them by. And the scent that it carries is something that brings back beautiful memories for us. And that is how she reiterates it again and again. And here she talks about this line I would like to just talk about. Here she says, Tale dimbi nadi idiye istri prapancha. So she talks about how the folding of a sari can just look like a small pillow. But then it also symbolizes how it's just that world of that woman that's brought within that small space. Space again is something, spatiality is something very important with panopticon studies. It talks about how space becomes the ideology that carries towards the world that you experience. So it becomes a physical signifier to how life creates. So she brings in all those aspects. A woman who lived in 1960s, where we would think she wouldn't know the world at all, is talking about the world to us, especially from the woman's perspective. And she talks about all the aroma that brings back memories to us. Our mother's cooking, the rasam she would make, the sambar she would make, the aroma that brings back memories to us. That is why she brings the words karpurada, agara, lavancha. So all these spices that the women are always associated with, she brings back to recollect that. Then she talks about, let me move on. She talks about how the sari is, especially Indian women, greatly cherish the sari style from their land, from their states. Will be it Kochampalli or Banaras or Kanjivaram. So we have those prints. We know what they mean and how much they are important to us. And our mothers are also symbols of that for us. So she talks about how the borders are there of the Udupi saris or the buttas of them, the flowers, the borders, the designs, and how they symbolize their essence. In this, that line she talks about is the thick borders in the sari pallu is what she's talking about. But what do they symbolize? Here she talks about dushtatana hattiravu suliyadante. That is, it becomes a protecting line for the child. The minute a woman becomes a mother, everything is out. The first thing she always thinks about is the child. That is the essence for all her existence. So it becomes that line, that border line, she relates to that. And the next line is so important to understand the glass ceiling that every woman experiences without even realizing it's there. how much ever we talk about we are independent, we are free, we can win the world, there is a glass ceiling that we all come across. That line is that netta badukina katte odeyadante, the line that tells her to be a proper woman. So it is very important for the woman, and that sari signifies that for her. It also signifies the other side of the mother who can be ruthless when it comes to disciplining the child. That's the next line that she says, the thick stick that would come after the child if she doesn't listen. So all those three comes with that borderline. So continuing on, I will bring a sense of how she relates to society and her. So I'll highlight only those. Okay. 1 second. Here, this is another beautiful thing. All of us would have tried to tie our mother's sari. And she talks about how that effort itself looks like a play for the child. And we become so inefficient in tying the sari in our efforts to try to imitate our mothers. So that is the comic line that she says, "Omme hudalu hogi nanade gidda gidda." That is, I became so tiny in relation to that 6-yard sari, and I knew it was I'm incapable to tackle that. Okay, and Vaidehi has a beautiful essence of bringing nature into her poetry. She brings in the beautiful spring season to relate to how her mother's sari is, with all the prints it has, all the colors of spring that is there, which is generally related to the woman, the womanhood, and the motherhood. And she talks about how spring is always in what she wears. And this line is very important. She asks, maybe even the queen was what my mother was. For all of us, our fathers are the first kings and the mothers are the first queens. They are the epitome of beauty and essence. So she relates to that too. And she wonders as a child, could that be so? Could my mother be so? And then she continues a few lines that are very important. Nanna ammana sire, ಒಡಲೆಲ್ಲ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ, ಮೋಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಸಿಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ನೋಯದಂತಡಗಿ, ಮಾಯದಂತೆ ಕಾದು, ಸ್ವಂತ ತನವ ಕಳೆ ಕತ್ತಲಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಹೊಳೆದು ಜೀವ. That is a woman who becomes the light to the family, covering them, protecting them from anything and everything. But where is her life? Questioning. So in a very simple and just a hint of a sentence, she covers the whole aspect of the woman's life, how it is in darkness. Is she able to bring life to her own self? I would like to relate one exercise that we do in class. I always ask my students, can you go back to your mothers and ask them, when you were born, how many of their dreams were lost? And ask them, can you get back them to their dreams? Is it possible for you to help them to get back onto their dreams? So this line reflected to me on that, how much of their dreams is lost because of us. And not a second she yearns for that dream or forget, and she completely forgets her dreams in all ours. So all those lines come again here. This definitely, one more line that I would like to reiterate. She talks about the very many types of saris, and a silk sari is always something a woman dreams of. Not all of us, but most of us. So she speaks of how the time actually came when she could afford that silk sari. But the time that she could afford the silk sari, the husband is not there. The father figure is not there. ಪಟ್ಟೆ ಸೀರೆಗೆ ಪಟ್ಟ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕನಸು ನನಸಾಗುವಾಗ ಅಪ್ಪಯ್ಯನಿಲ್ಲ. Appaya is the father. So the tiny, putta, small dream of having the sari is not there. And then she says, ಉಟ್ಟರು ಈಗಿಲ್ಲ ಉಡುವ ಮನಸ್ಸು, ಕಳೆದು ಹೋಯ್ತೆನ್ನುವಳು ಉಡುವ ವಯಸ್ಸು. So the minute she loses the love of life, she's also lost the yearn for that age, or to dress, or to be beautiful. So again, going back to Amrita Pritam's sentence for her love again, you might have had the sari, but what is the point?
What's the
You know?
point? Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I just want to finish with the last lines. Amma, that is, with the sari, I engulf myself, I hold it near, and I take the aroma and smell it and experience her. And this is one word. And at that time, I just say Amma. And that is a word, Savedu Saveyada, a Padava Nenapu. Savedu Saveyada, a Padava Nenadu. Savedu Saveyada means something that is constantly in use, but never out of use. The more you use it, the more it becomes yours, the more the essence, the cherish is there. And sadly, it is true. We remember, we relish the life, we hold on to that experiences only after we lose them. We forget to see the importance of theirs in our lives. This is again something we do with our students. We always ask them, if your mother's not there at home, how's your life? So they say, ma'am, with our fathers it's havoc. But then how many of us go back to say thank you to our mothers? So I'm hoping if it's a young generation or any generation who are with us, go back and say one thank you to your mothers, because they are something that no relationship can
True.
bring to this world. So thank you for this opportunity.
Beautiful.
Brilliant, ma'am. Brilliant. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Rupali ma'am, Aparna ma'am, Rajkumari ma'am.
बहुत ही
Yes,
बढ़िया,
I think.
बहुत बढ़िया और
Yes.
बिल्कुल सही कहा। माँ की हर चीज सही होती है और सही लगती है, और जिस तरह साड़ी का डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया था, ब्यूटीफुल, आई लव्ड इट। बहुत सुंदर, बहुत
Thank
सुंदर।
you.
बहुत अच्छी तरह
I
से
wish Mamta,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
was your student and you were my teacher, then I wouldn't have jumped over Mount Carmel's walls and run away, you know. I
I
would
feel
have
so
stayed in
blessed
the
to have these words,
classroom.
ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
But
I'm
your
very humbled
poem,
and thank you.
you know, today, most of the poem that Rajkumari Thakurji read about the thing with which, what is it called, with which you wash clothes?
पंजाबी
Yeah.
थापी बोलते हैं।
Yes. Yes. So, small things that belong to the home, to the woman, things that we don't take, we just take them for granted. ये चीजें हैं, कितना माने हैं, कितना signifiers हैं ये of our lives, But the sari, which is, I know when my mother passed away, the first thing I wanted, उनकी एक साड़ी रखना है. But there is a poet called S. Usha. I don't know whether she's a Tamilian poet or from Malayalam. S. Usha, you would know. She has written a poem which starts with "Don't, mother, don't." She
Yes.
says, "I don't want to be like you. Don't
हम्म,
take your sari and shut off the sunlight.
ओह,
अपने साड़ी से, my freedom, आपका साड़ी. I don't want to be like you. I don't want your sari to stop my freedom. I want to be different. I want to be free." So how, a poet uses these very simple things to say two very different stories,
Yes.
two different narratives. You know, one is so different. So when I was teaching some students, we have a program in Delhi University called the non-collegiate students. So they come only on Sundays, but they have the same textbook as the normal graduation.
Mm.
But they come from, communities that have been left behind. The father's a plumber or a, auto rickshaw driver. So they're much closer to reality. So उनके लिए the sari stops the freedom. वहां मत जाना, रात शाम को नहीं जाना, उससे पहले वापस आ जाना. So the sari. So it's been a wonderful
लेकिन मेरे
exposition. And
लिए तो ये है, माँ की साड़ी, मेरी मम्मी की साड़ी अगर जब भी मैं पहनती हूँ, तो ऐसा लगता है कि जैसे उनका आंचल मेरे चारों तरफ है, और एक
बिल्कुल,
ही महक लगती है, माँ की महक आती है उसमें से।
वो fragrance, yes, the
हाँ,
fragrance is there.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
In fact, I have not dry cleaned or washed my mother's saris,
Oh, yes.
I've kept them like that, yes,
No, but
because you want to,
it's so beautiful how three of us who never met each other were all the poems that we spoke about brought everything together so well.
Yes,
Yes.
true.
God's
And I
blessing.
also see how small thing like the cigarette that she mentioned. It is a
Yes.
fact that शायद because वो प्रेम वो इश्क कुछ और ही था.
Mm.
अभी तो it's very different. The cyberspace is there for your love affairs. And एक मिनट में तुम्हारा lover गायब भी हो जाएगा. But that that cigarette, वो भी एक छोटी सी चीज है. रोज कोई पीता है cigarette. But imagine your lover keeping it, and then it's like a kiss, no?
And not
They
only
can't
that,
kiss.
रूपाली, साहिर लुधियानवी को भी उनका इतना ही प्रेम था कि उनके अपने रूम में एक मग रखा था, और वो उनका कोई फ्रेंड आया, उसने कहा यार ये गंदा मग रखा हुआ है, मैं धो देता हूँ। सो ही वांटेड टू वॉश इट, ही सेड नहीं, इसको मत धो, इसको रखा रहने दो। तो ही से, अरे गंदा है, क्या करना है तो यू नो व्हाट ही सेड, इस पे अमृता के लब लगे हैं, वो रखा हुआ था। मतलब दैट काइंड ऑफ लव बिटवीन द टू ऑफ देम वाज देयर। तो अमृता प्रीतम वॉज मच अहेड ऑफ अ टाइमिंग। जैसे आजकल लिव इन रिलेशनशिप हो रही है, अमृता मिरोज की लिव इन रिलेशनशिप ही टाइप की तो थी, बट वो एक बड़ा प्योर था रिश्ता, जिसको कहते हैं आज भी लोग उसके बारे में बातें करते हैं। तो शी वॉज मच अहेड ऑफ हर टाइम्स, एंड सबसे बड़ी बात थी, शी टुक अ बोल्ड स्टेप, वट एवर शी वॉन्टेड टू राइट, वट एवर शी वॉन्टेड टू डू। तो शी हैड दैट काइंड ऑफ अ फ्रीडम। और किसी ने उनसे पूछा था कि तुम अपनी शादी से खुश हो कि नहीं हो, तो शी से, मुझे कोई उससे शिकायत नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे लगता नहीं है कि मैं जिंदा हूँ। दिस इज व्हाट शी सेड। ऐसा लगता है कि मैं जिंदा नहीं हूँ, बिकॉज शी वांटेड दैट काइंड ऑफ फ्रीडम जिसमें उसको कोई इनहिबिशंस नहीं हो, कुछ नहीं।
बिल्कुल.
So
So we've come to know so many poets. We have a very well-known poet here with a topi in front of us. Prasanna is also known all over the world as a poet, and he writes poetry that's full of ishq. Huh? You want us to hear one of your poems, Prasanna? One of your love poems? Which hai handy?
No, this is poets talk about poets. So this
You're also a
confuses-
poet.
You're
we
also
would love to
yes.
hear you. Please, we'll love to hear you.
Yes.
So it should be off the recording, ma'am. So
No, no. You're a poet. It would be wonderful to hear you.
Yes. We would
If
be
you
very
can
happy to
find
hear you,
one.
sir.
but yes, jokes apart, but viewers, we had honor of listening to wonderful poets like
You see, the
Dr.
poet
Aparna
that
ma'am.
Rajkumari ji has mentioned is a male poet. And
Yeah.
he's written about a woman, he's written
Yeah.
from a woman's point of view, which is remarkable, So, as Mamta said, a feminist is really a person who deals with women's issues. You don't have to be a woman to be a feminist. You can be a hell of a big patriarch, patriarchal woman, but you could be a very feminist male. So that was a remarkable poem that Rajkumari ji, the poet that you brought to us, and of course all of you. It's been such a lovely evening, so full of learning for us. और पता नहीं कोई सीखता है कि नहीं, but Prasanna and I are becoming very wise and very learned. Believe me. How many languages we have done already, Prasanna? आज तो कमाल कर दिया ना. We've got Kannada, which we didn't have earlier, and we didn't have Sindhi, and we have.
Cindy.
So how many? 17, 18 languages we've done.
18 languages. Well,
Congratulations.
on that note, yes, we'll see you next time with new languages, new poets, or maybe it repeated. We never know, but take the pleasure of, I'm honor of, thanking each and every member. I mean, Dr. Aparna Pradhan ma'am, Rajkumari Thakur ma'am, Mamta Free ma'am, and of course Rupali ma'am, which showed her profound, viewpoints, the points that presented.
My daughter calls me a lifelong learner. Seriously, the amount I've learned on this program is unbelievable. We've done it. This is our 12th episode, is it, Prasanna?
11th, ma'am.
12th episode.
11th.
Yeah.
So, see you, my dear friends, next week.